Okay, hello everyone. We are Watchdog 2, the cybersecurity team from New York Institute of Technology at Vancouver campus. In this video, we will demonstrate the exploits of CVE 2020 and 25213, a real-world vulnerability in the WordPress WP File Manager plugin. Okay, let's dive into the details. At first, we need to take a look at the background of the vulnerability. It's about WordPress and the plugin WP File Manager. WordPress is the most widely used CMS in the world, and it supports extending its functionality by installing plugins without modifying any code. And the WP File Manager is a popular file management plugin. It has more than 1 million installation, but unfortunately, the versions from 6 to 6.8 has the vulnerability. The vulnerability CVE 2020-25213 is publicly disclosed on September 2020, and it's an arbitrary file upload and a remote code execution vulnerability. Both NVIDIA and MITRE has rated this vulnerability as critical. It's critical vulnerability, right? Okay, let's take a closer look at why this vulnerability is so critical. At first, the plugin exposed this file mistakenly. And second, this file can be accessed without any authentication and allows arbitrary file uploads. Finally, an attacker can upload a malicious PHP file and execute it on the server, aka remote code execution. And just like that, the attacker gain full control of the server. Is so easy and so dangerous. Okay, this figure shows in detail how a hacker exploits the vulnerability step by step. First, they access the vulnerable file, and then using this file, they upload a malicious PHP code. Most of the time, shell code in it. Once the PHP file was uploaded, they can access it to trigger a remote code execution. At this point, they get the shell of the server. This means they can interact with the server just like a login user, right? Now, I'd like to show you the entire attack process step by step. Before that, we have already published a Docker image on Docker Hub, and that contains the CVE 2020-25213 vulnerability. And in this demo, we will use Burp and Netcat to perform a manual exploit. And after that, I will show you how to use Metasploit in my Kali Linux to perform an automated exploit. Alright, let's set up the network environment now. At this point, you can see I've already logged into my Ubuntu virtual machine here, and I will be running the Docker environment on the VM. Of course, you can install Docker and other tools on your local machine if you want. The VM is just optional. Okay, let's see this file. I just downloaded from the link. Okay, and then let's check the content. There are two services, right? Means two containers will be installed. First is MariaDB is necessary for WordPress, is the database. Okay, second, WordPress and the building with the CVE 2020-25213 vulnerability. Okay, let's type the compose up -d to run up these two containers. Okay, let's check the container. Yes, yeah. Here you are. There are two containers. First is our vulnerable WordPress, and the second is the database MariaDB. And here you can see the WordPress. It mapped 80 port 80 to the virtual machines AT, right? Okay, then I need to check the service. Okay, and sorry, I forgot. I need to copy the IP address. Sorry. Okay, here. Oh, here's my IP address of the virtual machine, and then okay, this one. Okay, here you are. This is the WordPress running on the Docker container, and this is installation page. We don't need to initialize the website. It doesn't matter because we have already pre-installed the vulnerable plugin, the file in server, and we can check the vulnerable file. I think it's copy content. Yeah, this one. This is the content. This one, right? This is the connector.minimal.php file. It's the vulnerable file. Okay, that's all of our network environment. It's worked, right? Okay, now let's start the manual exploitation by using Burp shoot. First, we need to start Burp shoot. Sorry, Burp shoot. Okay, do not update. And next, start Burp. Okay, this is the Burp shoot. Now we go to the proxy panel and click this one, open browser, open a built-in browser. All the traffic of the Burp shoot built-in browser will be captured by the Burp shoot. We can now get tried. We can copy this address and paste it to the Burp shoot browser, and yeah, visit it. Okay, we can see the response from the server, and we check the Burp shoot. We can, yeah, here history, HTTP history. We can see the request we just sent. This is the request, and this is the server response. Okay, here, and then we right click here and send to the repeater, which means we send the HTTP request to here, and we can modify the HTTP request, and after we modified it, we can resend it to the server. Okay, this is the original request, and the send response is in the browser, as we see in the browser, right? And then we can modify it. We can, yeah, change it to post method and add some payload here, right? And resend. Okay, error, because our payload is wrong. It's in a wrong format. We need a real payload. Okay, this is our payload. It's a harmless payload. Okay, we copy the whole payload and paste here, and we can see this is payload content, right here. We have a command. The value is upload, which means tell the server we want to upload the file, and this is target. And this is a predefined value in WP file manager plugin. It means where to store our upload file, and this is our file name test.txt, and this is file content hello world, right? And we send it, and we can see, okay, 200 HTTP status means is successful. Okay, and the content here is the test.txt is the whole full page of our uploaded file, right? We can copy the file to the browser. We can visit it. Okay, here, and we can paste it here. But I don't want. We need to, yeah, delete this backslash. Okay, but I think we can use this one. Same with the. Okay, here you are. Okay, you can see the hello world we just sent to the world. Sent to the server, and we can change it to any other word. Hello sky. Okay, successful, and we can refresh. Right? Yes, it's successful. And now let's take a look at the real part, the malicious part. We need to change the content, the request content, to a malicious code. Okay, here is our shell code in here, and we can paste the content to this one. Okay, we upload a new file named shell.php, and its content is just one line shell code. Okay, it means start a connection to the this IP is my local machine, and with 4444 port number. It's open a reverse shell. Okay, we send it to server. Yeah, it's successful, and the new path is here, right? But before we visit the new uploaded file, we need to start a netcat in our local machine, right here. Sorry, we need to NC this one. Here we start a netcat, which listening the 4444 port number and wait for the reverse shell connection, and then we can try to access the shell.php, and okay, we can see it's still loading. Okay, it's stuck and keep loading, and then we return back to the console. Right, you can see here it's changed. We have logged into the server, and I can see the ID, right, and we can see the PWD. You can see and this is the Docker running the WordPress. You can see the Docker ID. Okay, Docker PS, and this is the same Docker ID, right? We have already logged into the server. We exploit it. That's all, right? Okay, that's the full process of the manual exploitation using Burp. Now let's see how to exploit the vulnerability using Metasploit. There's Metasploit. As you can see here, I have already logged into my Kali Linux, which comes with Metasploit. Now we need to type msf console to launch the Metasploit. Metasploit is a powerful and automatic tool to exploit many vulnerabilities. It includes a module for CVE-2020-25213. That's what we want. Okay, then we need to type search command search command to search .p file manager. Yeah, here it is. The number is 0. The module name is exploit for our plugin, right? Then we type use the number 0. Then we enter the exploit module. Then we type info command to see the all information about this module, the module name, and the vulnerable version for the plugin from 6.0 to 6.8, and all the options, right? Now we need to set the required options. There are 3 options we need to set up. It's rhost, and okay, I think it's not sufficient. We need to option here it is. Yeah, here is the real options we need to set up: lhost and rhost and rport, right? Okay, we need to set here this IP is our Ubuntu VM, where the Docker container, the WordPress website running, right? And the R port 8080, and we need to send localhost 137. This is the IP of my Kali Linux, and then we type run to run the automatic exploitation, but we can see here is a failure message. Cannot reliably check exploitability. Okay, this is because our WordPress website is not initialized. Can you remember that? So when Metasploit access the home page, the server will return a 302 redirection code. It's a HTTP status code. This will cause the Metasploit to terminate the attack and rise this error message. So we need to set the false exploit. Set this option to true and run it again. Okay, here you are. We can see we have already exploit, right? Here payload is uploaded, and sending stage payload, malicious payload, and delete the temp file, and a session opened. Okay, okay, here you are. Okay, now we are already connect to the target server, and we can type shell command to enter the interactive shell, and we can type ID, right? We can type the pwd, we can write ls, yeah, okay, we can cd to root, and ls again, right? We have already logged into the target server. That's all. It's hacked. We have already mentioned that CVE-2020-25213 is a critical level vulnerability. It will lead to a full system compromise, data corruption, and data breach. So how can we mitigate this vulnerability or other similar ones? There are 3 rules we provided. First, keep all software updated, and then enforce the least privilege policy. And the last one is deploy security tools like IPS, like WAF in front of the web server. These 3 basic rules are simple but super effective. Okay. Let's conclude our demo of CVE 2020-25213. I hope this walkthrough helped you better understand how the vulnerability works and why it is so dangerous. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.